Anybody? Some of you, I hope when your homework's done and it's not too late at night and your parents are with you watching it. But that's a pretty realistic TV show to what we do in the District Attorney's Office. But let me explain what I do. If there were to be a person here at Samoset who's being bullied on the bus, called names, teased, excluded from sitting in certain areas in the cafeteria during lunch, which is a form of bullying, maybe people are spreading rumors about that person, maybe the bully is also harassing and picking on the student online and via text messages. I would be a lawyer who would work with the police to bring the case to court and help the student that's getting picked on, teased, bullied. And I would help them tell their story to a judge who wears a black robe in court. Would anyone like to try on the judge's robe? Or anybody? Why don't I take you right here? Come on up. Yep. Won't have time to have everybody try on a robe, the judge's robe, but very soon you will all be wearing one of these, maybe a different color. When? Even if you're not a judge, when will you wear this? Absolutely. I really like it. School, that's, sometimes it takes a while. People with Halloween coming up, kids will say, oh, you wear it on Halloween. You wear it when you come out of the shower. No. You are all going to wear one of these. I challenge you. The best thing you can do is stay in school. Because where I work in the court, and people are getting into trouble, a lot of people in trouble, sometimes going to jail, tell the judges, I dropped out of school, dropped out in 9th grade, dropped out in 10th grade, never graduated. You graduate, you're making a good decision, and you are going to be successful when you wear that robe. What will everyone think of you? What's your reputation when you wear that graduation robe? Accomplishments. You stuck to, and you achieved a goal, and now you're wearing a robe graduating from high school. That's what I challenge you to do. Best thing you can do for your future. But we have a judge today that's going to wear the robe. And what's your name, Judge? Tia? Judge. Now, just like your classroom teachers, where I work in the courtroom, the judge is in control, and do I respect the judge? What if the judge says to me, you have to do some homework? Because lawyers actually have to do homework. Sometimes the judge asks them to do homework. What if I talk back to the teacher, the judge, in the courtroom? What could happen to me? Somebody had their hand up over there? Yes, what could happen to me?
You could get in trouble or fired.
I definitely would be fired. It wouldn't be a respectful thing for me to do that. Would it hurt my reputation? Absolutely, the way people think of me in the courts. And did you know, Judge Sheehan, you would have the ability to put me in jail for contempt of court, even lawyers. Okay? Now, judges, teachers, same thing. Would you ever talk back to your teachers? Even if you got a bad grade, or they wanted you to do a homework project and you were planning to have some fun over the weekend? Never talk back to your teachers. Okay, that's the first rule. Is that against school rules? Yes. Some people said no. Can you believe that, Judge? It is against school rules to talk back, be disrespectful to your peers, but also to your teachers. Okay? And while I'm talking, I don't want you to have to stand. You want to have a seat up here. I'm going to probably call on you. Okay? Well, it's also against the law. If you are in any way disruptive in school, did you know that there's a crime called disturbing your school? Did you know that? Disturbing a school. If an adult walked into the Samoset and yelled and screamed and disrupted the learning of the school, the everyday jobs at the front office and all, they could get in trouble, but you guys could too. And I was telling the 7th and 8th grade a few minutes ago about a student who was 15 years old. And I know you react more maturely than he did. But what he did was he disrespected his teacher. He talked back to his teacher. He refused to obey his teacher when she said, put the stapler back on my desk, please. Would everyone do that? Obey the teacher? Absolutely. Well, it turns out, how many of you If you saw someone being bullied on the school bus, how many of you would speak up and help the student getting targeted on the school bus? How many? I hope you wouldn't just turn your back on things like that. I hope you'd speak up. We'll talk more about reporting and doing the right thing. But in this case, a student in the classroom, in this particular high school, actually came to the rescue of the teacher and said, please put the stapler back. He said it in a nice way, a kind way, and no threatening. He didn't threaten the bully who was being bad to the teacher. He didn't, yell at the bully. He just said, please put the stapler back so we can go back to class. It was a Friday before a long weekend. Did you all enjoy sleeping late Columbus Day, that Monday? Yeah, definitely. Well, this bully made a bad choice. And I need you to remember that if you're having a bad day, if everything's bothering you, if you feel lousy about something, what do you need to do? Take it out on the teacher, take it out on a classmate, or what do you need to do? What do you need to do? It's very easy. What? Keep it to yourself. Okay, try to hold things in, but sometimes, anybody have trouble controlling their temper sometimes? Has anyone ever done this? Said something or did something or wish you could turn the clock back because now you're in trouble at the office? Or in trouble at home with your parent? Okay, I have. Now all of us have in this room. So sometimes we need to do something more than just, keep it in. Getting it out is the thing we need to do. And how do you do that? Talk to someone. Talk to a trusted adult. Do you all have people? You're new in this school this year as 6th graders. I challenge you to act responsibly and more maturely than the 7th and 8th. Set a good example. Be good role models. But how many of you know someone in this school, a staff member, that you feel you could go to and discuss any problem that's bothering you? Or if you see a bully or something's going on. Instead of taking it out on another student or on the teacher, some of you aren't raising your hands. That's your homework. I want you to identify some people in the school, adults in the school you can go to and report when you are having a situation that's bothering you. Does everyone understand how important it is? Because there's a lot of students standing in front of judges saying, I wish I hadn't said what I said, I wish I hadn't done what I said, I was half joking. You ever heard that as an excuse for bad behavior? I'm teasing. Your words have power. We'll talk more about that, but your words have power. You need to be respectful in what you do and what you say. So this student I'm telling you about, the high school student, he wasn't respectful, was he? Not at all. And so a student in the class did the right thing. Came to the rescue of the teacher. Turns out the bully was mean to the student who did the right thing. He got mean to him too. Made some comments to him. He was out of control. A police officer overheard some things walking down the hallway, and all of a sudden on the Friday before the long weekend, this bully's in front of the court in handcuffs. What's the youngest age you can go to court, charged with a crime, and go in front of Judge Steele or another judge? 13? A lot younger. 7. So we have a lawyer here. And 7 years old. Now don't think you can bring your brother to court, because you share a room and you guys are crazy. But do we sometimes have family members, siblings, that an older brother hits the younger brother? Sometimes we do. Those are sad situations, and they go in front of the judge. But 7 and 8-year-olds, we could bring a 7-year-old to court, charge them with a crime. Mainly, we have students who are like 10, 11, your age. How old are all of you? You could go to court, and we don't want that. District Attorney Early wants us to give you good information so you make good, respectful, healthy choices in your life. So you never come to see us as a victim of a crime or as a defendant. This bully ended up in front of the judge on a Friday afternoon in handcuffs. His mother had to rush out of her work. to be in court with him. And she stood up and said to the judge, I'll take him home and I'll punish him at home and I'll make sure he doesn't go out and hang out with his friends. Who had all the power and control in that courtroom? The judge. You don't want to make bad decisions to the point where even your own mom can't help you go home. Because what happened is the judge said, I don't like your attitude. You disrespected your school, your teacher, your classmate. You disrupted the school learning, the most important thing there is. And I am going to see you Tuesday morning. So the bully thought he was getting out. Cuffs would come off. No, he was in jail Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. No pizza, no Facebook, no computer. Because the judge wanted him to think about his attitude, think about his actions, and try to change those actions. You don't want Judge Tia calling all the shots in your life. Okay? You don't want to ever wish you could turn the clock back. Every one of you has the right to come to this school under our laws and be free from anyone harassing you, discriminating against you because you have a different skin color, you're a different religion, you wear glasses, you have a disability. You have the right to feel safe. Anybody here in this room ever, sometime in your life, going to school, felt unsafe getting on the school bus? A lot of bullying happens there. And you're being honest. And I was in school once, same thing. That is wrong. No one here should feel unsafe coming to school because there's a bully on the bus, there's a bully at the cafeteria, making you or someone else in the school feel lousy, feel unsafe. And the bus, I think a lot of bullies are cowards, so I think a lot of bullies think they can get away with it on the bus. We all have to work together to teach bullies they can't get away with it on the bus or anywhere. A lot of bullies will stand in front of the judge and say, gee, I wish someone had taught me to be better, that what I was doing was really serious, was really against the law. Now I'm standing in front of a judge saying I'm in big trouble. So you help the bully by reporting. You help other students be safe. And you put a stop to bad behavior. Now, tattletaling. What is tattletaling? Somebody tell me, the student in white and yellow? Yep, with your hand up? Yep. Someone who tells on someone. But what's sometimes tattletaling? What do you think? Why are they telling on someone? The student in the green. Yes? Because they did something wrong. Sometimes tattletaling, yep, definitely. One other. No. Let me explain tattletaling. Tattletaling, what, you want to add to it? Ever tattle on your brother or sister through your mother because you want to get them in trouble? Yeah. And it's a little thing. Yeah. You know, like she says, who took the cookies? Who took the cookies? He did. He did. Maybe you even had some involvement in it. That's tattletale. I want you to understand, and you liken it to being a snitch. But tattletaling is silly little stuff. And you're doing it only to get that person in trouble. When you report that you just saw a student, or you yourself were picked on that school bus, teens, called a bad name, you are putting a stop to bad behavior. You're not doing it to get the bully in trouble. You're trying to teach the bully. You're trying to put a stop to bad behavior that makes people feel unsafe on that school bus. So who should you report it to? Does everyone understand the difference? Okay, and reporting helps everyone. Helps everyone. It really does. We have to get rid of that mentality. And I don't think, for the school staff, when someone reports something that may have happened on the school bus this morning, it doesn't go over the loudspeaker, John Jones just told us that Sally had pushed Karen. Have you ever heard that? No. And a lot of students also tell me, well, I never heard, I told my teacher, but I never saw what happened to the bully. You know what? You wouldn't be told. That's private between the bully and the bully's parents and the school. They're not going to broadcast on a loudspeaker or even pull you in to say, we took care of that bully, but they're watching the bully. the bully has had a consequence. You're just not going to find out about it. So it's important to report. Now, who do you report to if this afternoon you see something happen? Someone called a bad name, someone pushed, elbowed. What do you do? Obviously, and now if this is on the way home from school, you tell her tomorrow morning, right? That's a great answer. But before you get to school tomorrow morning to report it, are there anybody else? Is there anybody else you could tell? Parents, when you get off the bus. Even if it didn't involve you. I saw another student, I don't know her name, but this happened. Tell your parents. Who else, though? Before you even get to your parents. Who else? The bus driver. Tell as many adults as possible. And that way we make everyone feel safe. We are not tattling. And the bus driver, some students tell me, I told the bus driver, and then I said, did you tell Mrs. Pierce? No. So you need to tell the bus driver, your parents, and the school. All right? Is everyone clear? It's important. Yes? Okay, so there was a consequence for everyone because someone was being a bully. See, sometimes I've seen, schools that no one's talking about the bully, so everyone gets a consequence because no one's reporting bad behavior so the school can put a stop to it. You don't want to all be disciplined, like in your last school, because of a couple of people and doing stuff to hurt other people. Yes? Raise you up for telling on somebody. Okay, that's not a good message, okay? And what would you do if you ever heard that from another bus driver? I'm going to tell you what to do. You tell your parents and you tell the school, okay? Because you're doing the right thing for reporting, okay? That was not a good message, all right? I've never heard such a thing from any other bus driver, so you make sure you report if someone tells you. You report to me and you're going to be in trouble, okay? Reporting is the best thing. Bullying is when a bully tries to control everyone, have all the power. Okay, so back to you saying, this student here said something about snitching, right? Snitching or tattletailing, same thing. If you keep that code of silence that you all kind of have in the back of your mind, I can't tell, I can't report. Code of silence, keeping your mouth shut when you see something wrong, disrespectful. When you keep that code of silence, it keeps the bully in power and control. Did you know that? And I see so many young people coming to court having to tell this story to a judge and a jury, and they're not in any kind of trouble. They didn't do anything wrong. And they did all the right things reporting it. But so many students say to me, I wish I had reported sooner because things got better. I like going to school again. Some kids we see in court are skipping school because of a bully. They don't want to see the bully, so they start cutting classes. They start skipping school or coming to school late. Who does that hurt? The bully? No, who's it going to hurt? Judge? You. You're hurting yourself if you don't come to school and learn. And you're keeping the bully in power and control because the bully knows they got you. You're reacting to the bully. They have power over you. Take that power away by reporting it. And that's not snitching. Do you know what I hear from bullies all the time? I think I said this a few minutes ago, that bullies say to judges, I wish I had learned sooner in my life. Let me tell you about a classic case of a bully before we talk about a few laws that affect you every day. There was a bully who was bullying kids in kindergarten. You know what he'd do? Push kids off the swings. Is that against your school rules to put your hands? Yeah, without a doubt. Respect people's personal space. Don't put your hands on another student. You have no right to. Well, he was pushing kids off the swings. He was saying, you got to ask permission to use the slide. Did he own the equipment in this playground? No. He was clever. He always did it when the teacher's backs were turned. real clever. He was a coward, he was a sneak. But he kept all those kids he was in power and control on that playground because nobody reported. Would anyone report if you saw that happening? Well, no one did. First grade, he got worse. See, when you don't report a bully and they don't learn from making bad decisions, they keep getting worse. And he started calling kids awful names, telling rude jokes about them. Would anyone laugh about if you heard a rude joke? How many have ever laughed at a rude joke that made fun of someone? Anybody? You're being honest. What message does that send to the bully? What message? They're in power. They're in control. You're all laughing at my joke. I'm going to tell another one the next time somebody. Or any kind of rude, inappropriate joke. Don't laugh at jokes that make fun of people, that could hurt someone's feelings, that make fun of a group of people. Don't laugh at a bully's jokes, because that keeps them in power and control. Well, he would do that, and other kids would laugh, even though they were scared of him. They still laughed at his jokes, and it still kept him in power and control. By fourth grade, he started making kids, second, third, he tried to get kids to give him answers to tests by threatening them. He didn't put his hands on them, but he did this. And, where's the homework you're doing for me? Now, is this a crime? But cheating and all of that is serious. Against school rules, that what he's doing. But what's the name of the crime? Do that. It's called, let me go through here. It's called assault. It's a threatening gesture that scares someone. Shaking your fist in someone's face, doing a gesture like that, all scary stuff, okay? That's what he did to get kids to help him out at school. Kept him in power and control. Would anyone report that? I hope so. But no one said anything, and again, fourth grade, he started stealing lunch money. He was pushing kids, getting them so afraid that they gave him the lunch money. That's stealing. That's pretty serious. It's called a crime of larceny. Stealing. So, no one said anything. He kept getting worse. Some kids would actually get bruises from him, pushing them up against the wall. Is that a crime? That's assault and battery. When you put your hands on someone else, you have no right to. Elbowing someone to cut in line, that's an assault and battery. Okay? So, what if one of the kids, when he pushed him back? Would that be okay? No. Self-defense, you see that comment? A lot of young people think that it's okay to push a bully back. That starts it with you. And back to reporting, if you've let a situation go on and on and on, somebody's verbally harassing you, teasing you all the time, and you finally explode, lose control of your temper, and shove the bully, you and the bully could be in front of Judge Steer in trouble, having her call all the shots in your life. Set a curfew so you can't go out and play after school. If you don't want to push a bully, the law requires you run away if you can. Now, don't think if your friends are all sitting there, you have to be, I have to show that I'm tough. If I run, everyone will think I'm weak. I'm a wimp. Your friends aren't in front of the judge, you are, for staying and fighting. And I see a lot of people who put up with the bully for months and months, and then finally, after school one day, they shove the bully on the ground and they start kicking the bully. Now, what crime is that? Assault and battery of a dangerous weapon. Every one of you is wearing a dangerous weapon on your foot. And it's easy for someone to use that weapon. It's not like picking this up. Anything could be used as a dangerous weapon, really. It's the way you use it. So this would be a dangerous weapon. This would seriously hurt someone. But the thing with your feet and your shoes are right on your feet, so you don't have to pick up anything. And I see a lot of young people finally explode, because they didn't go over touch some adults to report a bully bothering them or their friends. Next thing you know, they're kicking a the bully causing serious harm, and who's in more serious trouble? The bully who started it or you who finished it? You are. Okay, so you want to walk away, and you have a question. Okay, that was going to be my next. Okay, times have changed, first of all, okay? I know when I went to school, a lot of parents would say, go in and show the bully and defend yourself. I have heard in court over the years, I've been a lawyer for 22 years, and I have heard that excuse. A parent will stand up and say to the judge, don't punish my daughter. I told her to hit the bully if she bothered you again, if she bothered my daughter again. Does that get you out of trouble? No. Now, you want to obey your parents, but I'm here to say that reacting to a bully in that way, defending yourself and hitting the bully, is not the solution. It creates more of a problem, and it could get you into trouble. So you don't want to get to the point where you have to defend, you think you have to defend yourself, okay? That is not a good idea, and it's going to get you in trouble if you fight the bully, okay? The law requires you run if you can. Now, am I saying you have to say you are against a fence, and the bully's right there, and they've got you, they're holding your arm. Do you have to stay and take the beating? No. No? A little bit. You do what you have to do to get away safe. Okay, so that might mean pushing the bully. That would probably be okay, but the Leominster police might go into it before they say, okay, that was okay, that was justified, that was okay, you pushed the bully to run away. Maybe you had to kick the bully once, but if you stay and then fight, and that's what we see a lot of young people, they don't control themselves to the point where they can walk away. They start getting into a serious fight with the bully. Do you understand what I mean? So you can defend yourself to the point where you can run away. But if you stay and fight, you make that bad choice, it's going to affect you. Okay? Let me see. I want to talk about criminal record. The reason we don't want to see any of you in front of a judge is it's a permanent record. A lot of young people say, I heard that my record gets sealed when I become an adult. Have you ever heard that? I get in trouble now as a juvenile? No? Well, it doesn't. I'm here to tell you your record never goes away. When do you become an adult in the eyes of the court? 18. No, 17. In the eyes of the court, with the criminal court. The day you turn 17, if you committed a crime, you would be, have your name in the paper, address, the charges of the crime, and so you would be treated as an adult. Now, at 14, 15, I'm going to show you a criminal record. At 14, 15, and 16, there's a special part of the law. It's called the Youthful Offender Law. And that is if you commit a serious crime, you could be tried as an adult, even though you're a juvenile at 14, 15, and 16. Did you know that? And we had one particular case several years ago where a young man was targeted by some students in his high school because he came from another country. They made all sorts of verbal comments like, go back to your home country, we don't want you here, you should never come here. Then they resorted to some physical bullying, assault and battery, pushing him. Well, one day they set him up online. You should never meet anyone online. Agree to meet them face to face that you don't really know for sure who they are, okay? Because you can't know for sure. These bullies set him up, tricked him into thinking he was going to meet with friends that he had met online. He went and he got severely beaten up, almost to the point of dying by these bullies. They hurt him so badly. And they were in front of the juvenile judge laughing. They figured, what's the worst, the judge is going to do? Maybe lock up for a little bit. No big deal. They were shocked when they heard we were going to try them as adults. And One was 15, one was 16, and they got an adult sentence. Okay? You don't get put with adults till you turn 21, but you're kept in a lockup down in Plymouth County, House of Correction, and you don't go home for holidays and birthdays. Okay? So it's serious. You never want to stand in front of a judge. You don't want to make bad decisions and hurt someone physically or emotionally. Okay? So this is a criminal record, and this kid kicked someone with a shod foot. That's what we call it, a shod foot. It's Old English. It's from Old English. And it means your foot with a shoe on it. You kicked someone with your shoe. And he also didn't learn from his mistakes. So he came back to the court, and he got charged with criminal harassment, which is a charge we use for bullies. 2.5 years in the House of Correction is the penalty. A juvenile judge would probably give you probation, okay? Maybe first time around if it's the first time. But the more charges you get, the worse it is. And this student also made annoying and harassing phone calls. Anyone ever make prank calls, repeated prank calls? You're not going to admit? None of some of you are admitting? Okay. Well, that's against the law. That's against the law. And anything you do on your computer, okay, anything you do on your computer or your cell phone can be traced by the police. They're very clever, okay? But this young man went to court and he'll always have this record, okay? Now, the fourth grader I was telling you about, you know, that did some awful stuff, then started stealing, he's got one of these records, even from fourth grade, that will always be there. How do you think he ended up going in front of the court? And I'll tell you what happened to him. What do you think? How do you think it got into the court? He cried. He was crying a little bit when he was in front of the judge. Well, the fourth grader was stealing everybody's lunch money and the kindergarten, and from kindergarten on up, he was a bully to everyone, and no one said anything. How do you think he got to court? Yeah. Maybe you've heard me in an assembly before tell this particular case. A new student to the school came to the school, had no idea what was going on, and he tried to shake him down for lunch money, steal money. And that student didn't shove the bully, didn't threaten the bully, said quietly, nicely, I don't think you're funny, I don't think you should be stealing, you're scaring everyone, you're not doing the right thing. He went home that night and discussed it with his mom, went into school the next day and told the principal. And he didn't get beaten up. In fact, he made a lot of friends. He didn't do it for that reason. But he was the hero of the school because he did the right thing. When everyone else was saying, oh, we'll just ignore it. We'll keep the code of silence because maybe he'll beat me up. It'll get worse if I tell. Everyone had that mentality except this brave young man. And he became so popular. The bully went to court. Okay? Bully went to court and the judge gave him probation because it was the first time. And you know what the bully said? A couple of things. The bully, through his lawyer, said that he wished somebody had told sooner because now he was in really big, serious trouble and he should have learned. He also said that in kindergarten, when he started picking on kids, his mom married a man, so he had a stepdad, who was bullying him. He also said his own brother, much older than him, was bullying him, calling him names. So his stepdad and his older brother were not nice to him. They were picking on him, making him feel lousy. So in turn, he'd come to school and make other kids feel lousy. Sometimes bullies do that. What could he have done in kindergarten to avoid ever hurting another student and getting into serious trouble in front of the judge? What could he have done? Back when he was feeling so lousy. Well, report to people. And if his mom wouldn't listen, come into school and tell the school what was going on. And everyone would have been talked to and helped so that no one was going to be disrespectful and bully anybody. Do you understand the importance of reporting? And so, the judge, with all the power and control over that bully's life, ended up giving him probation. He had to write notes of apology to everybody in the school, pay the money back, and guess what? Community service. A lot, you see on that record something about community service. That's working for no money. That's not like doing chores at home and you get a little bit of money, okay? That's working for no money. His community service was at a farm, cleaning the farm, and it was during summer vacation, and it was a hot summer. What's on a farm? Yes, your hand shot up. What's on a farm? Cows and other animals, and what goes with them. Okay, everyone always asks this. Okay? Pigs, everything. Okay, so that was his job for no money. And if he refused, Judge Tia, what would you do? I'm not doing that. It smells, it's awful, and I'm not able to sleep late on the sun during the summer and go to the beach. But she's a tough judge. And all in control of this bully's like any bully that comes before her. So she said, probably giving something worse, like maybe lock up for a little bit. Okay? So you never want to see a judge. The bottom line is you've got to be respectful to yourself and to others. Your words have power. How many texts? How many have cell phones where you text people? We're seeing a large amount of people getting into trouble because they text something to someone and someone is scared by that text message. Someone is offended. Someone feels hurt. And that can be traced back to your phone, and your words, especially written words, have power. So you have to say nice things. No name calling. Because that charge, criminal harassment that you saw on that bully's record, sometimes that is what we use when bullies are verbally and online harassing another person, bullying another person, calling them names, teasing them, making them feel lousy. Okay? There's a question here. So when you think of the number of 100 hours of community service I've seen students get, that's a long time you're doing community service when, and you're not enjoying life. You're not, you do have consequences when you are disrespectful to someone, physically, verbally. The final thing, do we have a couple of more minutes?
Keep talking.
Okay. How many have MySpace and Facebook? Okay, now, last time I checked, when I asked all your ages, I'm doing the math, all of your ages were 11 and 11, everyone can hear me? 11 and 12, right? So that means if you have Facebook and MySpace, you are lying about your age because it's 13 and older. Okay? If you're lying about your age, do you think other people should be lying about their age? Absolutely. There's a lot of bullies. You know, bullies that want to hurt someone. There's a lot of bullies, sometimes we call them predators. It's really important that you be very careful about Facebook and MySpace. How many have it set to private? Okay, anyone who raised their hand and said they have a social networking site, you've got to set it to private. But does that mean it's private? No. No. We had, it's not on this PowerPoint, but we had, it was a woman who had a blog, and she put her family's picture up, beautiful family, and she was communicating with other members of her family across the country. And this past summer, she had a friend go to Prague, way across the ocean. And he almost drove off the road because there was his friend, her family's picture, she, her husband, and 2 kids, picture on a billboard in Prague, advertising a business. So he called and said, did they hire you to have your picture on their billboard? No. making a company money without permission. They hired a lawyer. The lawyer's another one to know. It was on the computer. The World Wide Web means the World Wide Web. So what you post out there has got to be, you got to be very careful, because what scares me is a predator could take your picture. If you have MySpace, they take your picture, they can do whatever they want with that picture. Very scary stuff can happen with people who aren't respectful online. Another thing I want to talk about with the computer and Facebook and MySpace and anything you do. We had a situation of a young man who was being looked at by a Division I school, a bunch of them, to give him money to play basketball. Read this slide very carefully as I'm talking. He was to get into college, senior year, but he went on his Facebook and he showed himself throwing gang signs, making gang signs. So the schools, the colleges that wanted to pay him to go to their school said, we gotta check this out, because did you know what you do today? You think living in the moment, right down today, isn't going to affect your future? You're wrong. What you post on your Facebook, your MySpace, or anytime you're online, or any cell message, any picture you post out there, it's going to be there now and in the future, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. Everything's archived. So jobs and colleges are checking your online activity. Everyone's online activity. My online activity. Everybody. So be respectful to yourself. Was it a good idea to show yourself throwing gang signs? No. The colleges called the local police department where this happened and said, is he gang involved? Gang affiliated? The police, we've never arrested him and brought him to court. We don't have him on our intelligence, but we can't say for sure that he's not gang involved. So what happened to his colleges? Scholarship. They didn't want to take him because they didn't want to risk bringing a gang-affiliated person on their campus. Okay? So that is one of many cases. We've had situations of young people goofing off and holding a can of beer. And then the can is empty. How does that affect your reputation if that picture is online? How does that affect your reputation now and in the future? What is it? Yeah.
College might not want to use it.
College, because they know you were, or they can see that you might have done something like Michael Phelps. I'll end here. What you do, the choices you make, both the good and the bad, affect your reputation, the way people think of you now and in the future. Michael Phelps won a lot of gold medals, right? Remember? He was making millions of dollars for Kellogg's cereal and all sorts of other companies because he was a great role model of setting a good example for everyone. But his reputation went from there to there, to the bottom. And who did it to himself? Who did it? I just gave it away. He did it. He had the power to be good reputation, bad reputation. He decided to go to a party, made a bad choice. He drank alcohol, not good for an athlete. Doesn't look good. And then he went and used illegal drugs, marijuana. Someone, you guys live in a world of cameras. You have to be careful. Again, the choices you make can destroy your reputation. Be respectful. Make good choices because he wished he could turn the clock back. He can't because someone had a camera, someone took his picture, and it was all over the World Wide Web. And he got fired, lost all that money, and he got suspended from competition, and people, his reputation of being such a good role model is affected forever. You guys have to watch what you do and say, and be respectful to everyone, and always report. That's the bottom line, always report. If you get something nasty on a cell phone message, a picture, a comment, a chain letter threatening other kids in your school, don't forward it. Don't report it immediately and let your teachers know, your parents know. Don't be part of the problem, be part of the solution. Don't forward bad stuff that you get, you gotta report it. okay? You've been a great group. I know